when you're able to read price action and you can see it and anticipate it and know what's likely to occur next, and it happens most times, and you're doing it consistently, you're not impulsively going into the charts and trying to pick the next fluctuation just because you're bored. It's when you're no longer influenced about pursuing being right, but that line that divides that, where you no longer are satisfied with being right. So when you're no longer chasing that, I need to be right, I need to be right, it's just happening by default. That is, my opinion, the clearest indication that you're probably prepared, at least the earliest stages of it. As soon as you start trading with funds or even a funded account, I'm sure you're going to have that magical experience where suddenly it really matters now. It matters if you're right. And then you start that whole process all over again, desensitizing yourself to the pursuit of being right. Now, right is all right, I guess. Wrong is not necessarily bad. Meaning that you can get into a trade, you can get into an investment idea, a setup. Everything look like it's lining up for you. And as soon as you enter the trade, something just doesn't feel right. You give it a little bit of time, and then finally, you see enough to know that what you're looking at is not a viable setup anymore. And you do what is appropriate. You abort the trade. You turn it off, close it, it's done. Whatever loss, whatever result, you accept it. That's being wrong. But that's not being wrong in a bad way. It's being right about being wrong. And many of you, like me and everyone else that's come up in this industry, in the beginning, when you're trying to do your analysis, you want your analysis to be right. Because you think that right is always profitable. No. Think about how many times you were right about the direction, but got shaken out, stopped out. Right about the trade idea, but didn't push the button. So you can be right and be wrong. So it's a matter of perspective. It's not a pursuit for you or me or anyone else that's in this industry try to tell the future with these candlesticks. It's not our endeavor to be right. Our endeavor is to be consistent, doing the same things that's been measured, studied, and has shown to provide a probability that usually ends up in what the past has shown, but that's not indicative of the future. That's that gray area. And you have to embrace not being right all the time and being right enough. But there's a time when you get consistent with your outlook on the marketplace, your timing, your selection, bias, all those things that they come in alignment. And when you no longer have any real concern, not that you are numb to it, because that's a totally different thing, but you're indifferent to it. Obviously, everyone wants to see the outcome be favorable for them, but there's this state of mind that you're going to reach, and you really won't know what this feels like until you finally get there. And I'll talk about how you get there in a few minutes, but for now, the way I identify it is when you have a trade idea that you've engaged, you're in the trade now, the market's moving around, and you are absolutely disconnected in terms of emotion or needing it to be right. And equally so, you're not worried, you're not concerned if you get stopped out. The second one I want to talk about first. The reason why you wouldn't be concerned about being stopped out is because you know, if you've been doing the back testing, studying, watching real-time price action with me, you can see that these things are predictable. They're based on time delivery. And these structures that come into the marketplace that present our opportunities, and it may not be an opportunity that you have identified yet. You haven't found your model, but that's okay. You'll find it. It'll come to you. But you don't worry about that outcome being unfavorable, because you know that one transaction, that one idea that you're placing a laboratory experiment around, which is a speculation that you're looking for a displacement in price from where it is right now and where you believe it's going to go, and limiting how far it can move against you. So that stop out, if it happens, you're not worrying about it. In fact, you're completely indifferent to it. Meaning, if it does stop out, no big deal. If it runs to your target, no big deal. It's just one transaction. It's one thing that you're doing right now that absolutely has no power over removing you from your entire career. Let's flip the script now. As much as we are not concerned about losing, having a bad result, being stopped out, we're not worrying about being right. We're not worrying about it going to our profit target. We're not worrying about doing a full pull. A full pull is whatever size position you build up, you take all of it off at your target, and that's it. It's all or nothing. And while you're learning, it's important not to have that mindset. No matter who tells you otherwise, it's important for you to reward yourself incrementally. Over time, you'll know when the trades are really in your favor to do full pulls, where you don't take any partials. You're just managing the trade with a